They said I was doing like 90 miles an hour when I wrecked, and the right side of my car hit it, and it caused my car to flip over in the air, and it flew through the air and hit that tree down there.
Do you remember anything about the accident?
I don't.
Jeremy Kerr does not remember the car accident in which he broke his neck and back in 6 places, but he will be reminded of it every day for the rest of his life.
I broke C5, C6, and C7 in my neck, and I was like a ½ inch away from being a C4 quad, and I wouldn't be able to move my arms at all, so really lucky.
You heard him right. This young guy with his whole life ahead of him says he's really lucky, even though he will spend most of that life in a wheelchair. Most, but certainly not all.
No, I'm gonna stand up.
Jeremy is lucky. He is only one of 3 people in the world who is lucky enough to be admitted to a very special study at Shriners Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Jeremy, like most people in his place, have vowed to walk again. But unlike almost all of the others with paralyzing spinal cord injuries, Jeremy can walk again. Watch this.
Right. Left.
His new gait is almost robotic, which is not a surprise because Jeremy is a bionic man of sorts. His x-ray shows a maze of wires and electrodes hooked to his nerves. Those little electronic components are at the center of a Shriners research project that has the whole world watching.
It's amazing how well it works.
Shriners Chief of Staff Dr. Randall Betts is the surgeon who has brought Jeremy and 2 other Shriners patients to their feet again. It all begins with an ingenious little electronic device that stimulates the nerves in Jeremy's body.
The stimulator would have gotten implanted just below his breast on his rib cage like that. And some of these channels go around to the back, and they'll do some of his muscles in his buttocks and also bowel and bladder. These electrodes will go down to the front of the leg on this side, and these electrodes will come across the body and down to the other leg.
As you can see on Jeremy's x-ray, the wires snake around his body. The doctor sewed little electrodes onto Jeremy's nerves. They were then hooked to a Casio computer, which Jeremy wears on his belt. He tells the computer to send out little shocks to his nerves, and voila! 7 surgeries later, Jeremy can stand and walk. But it's not easy.
And I'm gonna hit it now, and it's gonna beep 3 times, or 4 times, and I'm gonna stand up. And now I'm just going to do swing through walk.
The swing through pattern is just one of Jeremy's options. The computer has both his legs locked, the muscles clinched. He uses his upper body and walker to move. It's tough, but it works. The second option is called reciprocal. The computer actually fires the muscles in each leg separately. Jeremy hooks the computer to his walker and pushes buttons when he wants to take a step. Watch closely.
Now I'm going to hit the left step button. My left leg should take a step.
Little step.
A little step. Now I'm going to hit the right step.
Too far ahead of you.
Yeah. Now left step.
Lefty's being temperamental today.
Therese Johnston is Jeremy's physical therapist. She says though Jeremy's level of mobility is physically taxing and looks a bit crude, it has many practical uses.
I mean, I think it's fantastic what we can accomplish to be able to allow somebody to stand. I mean, it's not going to make him be a full-time walker. That's not the goal of it. I mean, he's going to use his wheelchair for a lot of things, but it gives him the ability to stand up, potentially go up and down stairs to get into other people's homes, walk onto an airplane. So it can really help with just those little functional activities that none of us think of for somebody in a wheelchair, how difficult some of those may be. So we may be able to impact some of those.
Shriners is also thankful for Jeremy. He's been essentially a human guinea pig. Aside from the 7 surgeries needed to implant the system, Jeremy must go through intensive physical therapy, both for his own well-being and so researchers at Shriners can see how to improve upon the system. And improvements are coming.
There's a lot of effort going into regeneration therapy for spinal cord injury. What we do know already is when those therapies come out, they're not going to be 100% cure. I think that we'll wake up some nerve paths that aren't totally injured, just kind of lying dormant. They maybe just need some new insulation on them, and then they'll start to work, but they won't work normally. And you can take a system like this, and where a muscle may not just be strong enough, or it may not be coordinated enough because it doesn't have a sensory branch or something like that. We'll be able to add a system like this to take a patient with an incomplete recovery and make them more functional than they otherwise would have been. I think systems like this are going to be integral in that regeneration type of strategy.
In other words, the doctors hope to someday use both the bionics and human cells to help people like Jeremy walk again.
Right.
Shriners is also a world leader in regeneration research.
And then probably over the next 10 to 15 years actually fine-tuning a cell that is fairly effective in improving someone with a spinal cord injury to the point not necessarily where they'll walk, but maybe to a point where they'll have some muscle recovery.
Jeremy says when that day comes and the cell regeneration therapies begin working in humans, he will be ready for a try. For now, his bionic body keeps working out. The computer even gives him an exercise program to keep his leg muscles strong, not atrophied as they normally would be. Jeremy plans to help others learn from his triumphs and his mistakes. He wound up in this chair because he was a drunken teenager who got behind the wheel. Now he gives lectures to other young people and gives thanks to Shriners, who pay for every dime of his hotel rooms, his airplane tickets, and his expensive medical care. Jeremy is a lucky guy who knows what really matters.
And I'm just so thankful to wake up every day. When you're that close to dying, and you're just thankful to be able to wake up any way you can, And just being at the Shriners Hospital, I mean, you see how thankful you really are for what you've got.